It's day like 69 of the exhaust build, and I think this is step number 420. We're going to try to finish up the tailpipe assembly. Maximum safety! As you can see here, I've got the stock do-jobber here, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to kind of section it. You can see I've already made a few marks here. We got one there, one there, one there. And what I'm doing is I got a piece of printer paper and I just cut it up and I made a little strip. I'm using that to mark straight lines around the pipe. Now, you don't have to use printer paper. You know, you could use string, or if your dick's really long, you know, just wrap that around and use it as a straight edge. And then just kind of mark around the outside here. And then just keep going until you get all the way around. And you know, if your pipe is black, that's okay. You don't really need the line, just eyeball it. You're going to fill it in with weld boogers anyway, so what does it matter? There you go. A black line on a black pipe that you're never going to be able to cut straight anyway because you suck with an angle grinder. Let's get to cutting. When you get done sectioning everything, you should be left with 3 different pieces. Alright, you got your V-band, your, I don't know, 40, 30, 60-ish degree bend, and your tailpipe. I thought about cutting this off, but if you look inside, there's actually a tube that comes down that turns this way, so you don't want to cut this here. It's better to just rotate this and either leave this at the angle that it is or come back and cut this straight. Now, if you get lucky and you cut this in the right spot, you'll notice there's actually kind of 2 layers of tube here, one inside the other. And this tube is a different diameter than this tube. So, if you get lucky, there's just a little bitty ring left, and I was able to pop that out. And now our elbow actually fits real nice inside, which will make for a really easy, nice weld. And then, you know, you'll put your V-band on, something like this. And Bob's your uncle. There's your tailpipe. So, you know, I've always heard to measure twice and cut once, and I subscribe to that. But in this situation, I've kind of flipped it up a little bit. We've, I think, cut thrice, and now we're going to go measure once. So I'm going to go take this. We'll test fit it on the truck to make sure that this piece doesn't hit into the axle. And then if that looks good, then I'll come back here and weld it. Alright, I think I found an angle I like. I don't know if you can see this, but I went ahead, since I don't have a Sharpie, and just made some scratches on it where it lines. I'm going to line it up. And if you look at how it sits, it's going to kick out a little bit towards me, which I think is going to look sexy as hell. And it's going to weld up something like that. Plenty of clearance to the axle and to the drive shaft. This is really my main worry, is the drive shaft. It's just out of frame here, and I don't want the hose that's going to this to hit the drive shaft when this axle moves up and down. So the exit here is kind of backwards this way. I don't really like that, so maybe I'll find like a right angle fitting or something like that. But I'm going to just tape this up, and then we'll take it home and weld her up, and I think we're nearly done with this project. We're back at the welding shop. I took the chrome weld off, and I went ahead, I put some Sharpie marks now that I found my Sharpie on the pipe, so I know kind of how to align this. I'm going to take the old flapper girl here and clean this up a little bit, do some proper weld prep so that my welds have a chance of not looking like absolute shit. And then we'll just zip her all together with the metal glue. Now I just got to put the last V-band on, and I think we're pretty much done. Here's a close-up of those welds. You can see I kind of had to get the TIG torch out here. That's why you see that heat discoloration. But otherwise, you know, pretty smooth. And that's really what you're looking for all the way around. If you're going to go drop panties with this down at the county fair, you know, you need welds like this to drop the panties at the tractor pull. That's really the only way to do it. So yeah, it ought to look like this. You shouldn't have to do any grinding. You know, if you're as good a welder as me, you know, I didn't have to grind this at all. So we're just going to slap this on the truck, and we'll see how she rides. Well, I'll be flipped. Would you look at that? Them some sexy welds. I'm like a master fabricator or something. Anyway, pro tip. If you weld close to your phone, slag is liable to land on it. And that can actually crack your screen, I just learned. Anyway, that's it for tonight. I think maybe tomorrow we'll try to fab up some mounting brackets to hold this sucker on the truck, and we'll just kind of go from there. And when you get done showering after a long day of fabric cobbling some shit together, you may be left with some iron shavings down at the bottom of your bathtub or shower. Now what you're going to want to do is leave those there. Your loved ones and kinfolk probably don't get as much iron in their diet as you do, breathing in all those metal fumes. So this is a good way to supplement their iron deficiency. They'll just absorb it through their feet the next time they shower.